What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and today we're going to be getting back to the game development streams. I'm very excited about this one. Hopefully you can hear me alright over the music. I can never quite tell what is going to be best for you guys for YouTube because it does not give me appropriate audio levels. I can only go off of what I can see as being output, but I know that's not entirely accurate for what what YouTube picks it up as, so hopefully you guys are okay. I'm going to do a quick test to make sure that the music isn't too loud. Okay, sounds pretty good. The music might even be a little bit quiet. Hey Rain, what's up? I see Grandma, Rain, thank you all for coming by. You can see I'm very hairy today. I said this on Twitch, but it's not no shave month or anything. I've just been growing out my hair to get it all even, to be honest. So, you see that I got all my hair. I'm not going insane, I promise. Okay, so everything looks good from what I can tell. I'm just looking at tracking, volume. Shouldn't be getting any feedback. Okay, I think we're good to start. Let me know if you have any issues watching this or hearing me or anything like that. I'm going to keep you guys on the chat on my phone, like always. Let me get that set up real quick. Live chat. There we go. Now I can see you guys. So yeah, just let me know if you need anything or if anything's not working as it should. Today we're going to be kind of a little bit all over the place. The first thing I want to do is get an asset for our enemy. Maybe some animations. But most importantly right now, a model. Our mannequin is good for when we were doing the jump on head thing. But now that we're starting to get into more actual mechanics, like just to catch you guys up, we're now able to hit opponents with the sword, and it only hits when we're doing the attack. And, excuse me, it only does damage when we're doing the actual attack. And now we can continue, you know, keep playing our level. But we can actually defeat enemies, and we can give enemies health and things like that. So this is pretty important. I figured let's start developing the enemies a bit. We have a bunch of different stuff here, and I'm really happy with everything we've done so far. I'm not necessarily saying we need to get into like boss AI at the moment, but I think we should have at least a wandering enemy of some sort. On top of that, we should probably have some other abilities that our character can use, I was thinking about. So right now he can just walk, attack, and jump, which is pretty much the main things that you need. But maybe we either have a ranged attack we can use sometimes, or we have something that we can pick up and switch our weapon for. Now, since we only have the one mesh for the sword, we probably won't be doing that today at least. But just kind of get thinking about the things that we may want to do. That's why I said maybe a ranged attack, like he could just throw like a firebomb or something, you know what I mean? And we'll go ahead and do it. Okay, cool. Thank you, David, for that. I just saw that. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I think we're ready at this point. I'm just going to get started then. So, let's go on Mixamo. And let's figure out exactly who we want our first enemy to be. We don't need to go huge into all the enemies and animations at the moment. But if we could get one enemy working so we could kind of base AI off of that, you know, at least have a setup AI class that we can manipulate for children classes. I was going to say, are you down, Mixamo? It's fine, you can see my information. You guys are already aware of this, though. Okay. So, now. I mean, Skeleton Zombie's not bad as a first enemy. Zombie, of course. Did we pick one out last time? Hold on. Let me make sure we did not pick out an enemy already. Oh, we actually already picked out the zombie. Okay. So I don't need the model, but I will need some animations. Okay, let's put these in a folder. And let's get some zombie animations. So we have the model, like I said. We're going to need to get animations for the zombie. So we got the zombie. Here we go. You are the winner. We need an idol. Now there's actually zombie packs we can use with this here, so we can use the ones that go along with it. So we'll get idle. We could get the whole pack, but I don't think we'll need, honestly, the whole pack. Let's take a look at the zombie walking. This is probably good. I like the way that looks. Stumbling. The problem is there's a few different zombies. Hey, what's up, Snatchin? What's up, buddy? Oh no, it's a zombie. Run! Right? Hey, thanks for coming by, man. Really happy to see you. Yeah, we're just kind of getting some animations for our zombie enemy here. This is going to be our first enemy of our game. We're going to make him do stuff today. Could have a hit reaction. I feel like it might not actually be necessary for these types of games. I'm trying to think what we need. We have walking. We definitely need an attack of some sort. Which can probably just be like, yeah. Yeah, that's probably good. I actually like that death as well. I might go ahead and use that death. So we have idle, walking, attacking. Is how they want to stay long. I'm super tired. It's okay. I saw you were streaming for a bit. You stream for a long time. You got lots of energy, Snatch, and especially because it's late for you right now. I will say it's impressive. You're totally good. I appreciate that you came by. I'm glad to see you. But I totally get it. I went from working, and I had about 20 minutes afterward to switch over to this. So I'm a bit tired myself. But I'm still happy to see you, and thanks for coming by and saying hello. I guess, really, we don't need much more. We could have, like, a zombie stand up if we want them to sometimes kind of spawn. Almost like they're inactive and then become active, but we don't have to go probably... Well, we could make the whole episode about... we could make whole episodes about specific enemy types and just make an enemy in that 2-hour period. Zombie skeleton, perfect. Let's import all like that. And as long as these animations are good for it, then you should basically be good with this part. We'll have to make the anim BP, just like we had to make the character anim BP, but it's all part of the process. The hardest part will be actually making the AI, because I am a little bit outdated with behavior trees at the moment. I have quite a bit of experience with them, but that was quite a few years ago, and the way I'm doing it in the fighting game, I started setting it up a little bit early in the fighting game, but it's going to be a little bit different than how we do it here, so I'm not sure how well that will go, but I figured we could kind of do it together and just figure it out. And yeah, these animations look good. You can usually tell from the thumbnail alone, but yes, they look good. Excellent. Okay, so now we've got our animations for our character. Let's go ahead and make the anim BP. We'll call this one this part's the easy part. Idle. Now, idle can go to walking. There we go. And lastly, dying. Okay, so we got our little state machine set up. Of course, we have to set up all of our transition rules, but we are going to need to make a character blueprint for this guy. So instead of base enemy BP, we can actually make a child class of this if we don't want to make a zombie code class. We can use the child blueprint class of this class. I'm not entirely sure what's better. Either way, you have to do a little bit of additional work on one end, and I never know what's better, to do additional work in code or in the blueprint. I would probably prefer the code, which is why I usually do it the way I do, but, Is a tough... Let's see how we did it for the character. We'll stay consistent. So for this, it looks like we used the code class. Yeah, okay, we'll just do it that way. It can suck a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Let's make a new blueprint class. Let's use the... Ooh. Might actually want to just use the base, because I'm trying to think. No, let's make a code class for it. I think that makes a lot more sense, actually. Oh God, I forgot. Visual Studio, for some reason, it crashes every time you try to move a tab. I don't know why. It is so broken. Why are you so broken? Okay. Fine. You get to stay there. I apologize for trying to move you. Alright, well, yeah, let's go ahead and make a new C++ class real quick. We'll do it off our base enemy BP. Or, excuse me, not our base enemy BP, off of our base enemy. And we'll call this Zombie. We could have different iterations as well. There's so many choices. Let's just make him Zombie. I think Zombie's good enough. Yeah, let's do Zombie. Okay. It'll get there eventually. I promise. Maybe not. It doesn't normally take this long. I think it's because I already had Visual Studio open. Usually I shut it before I make a class. So I think it's trying to, like, update Visual Studio while we're here. There we go. Oh, it hot reloaded. It did. It built everything because it was open. Okay, cool. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, now... Oh God, I forgot how much I hate the way this fills out. Okay, so now... It doesn't really matter how we set this up, as long as it is a child of our base enemy, which it is. That will give us a lot more freedom. There's some things we have to do and some things we don't have to do. So for example, with this being a child, it does get access to a lot of things we need. Like for example, well, I will still need a constructor, so let's make a constructor. Actually, I would almost wonder. Yeah, well, all right, yeah, let's make the constructor first. But I do have something I want to check. Here's the constructor. Okay, so yeah, what I wanted to check... Yeah, that should be good. Because base enemy was our mannequin. So let's still set up some things, like, let's give the zombie, let's give him 1 health. I know that we gave the mannequin like 3 for a fact, but I think a zombie, kind of the weakest one, should be 1 health. Maybe we give him more, but let's give him 1 for now. We won't give him any invincibility time. Trying to see if there's anything we have to override. So all the functionality that's in the parent class here will be automatically used by the child, assuming that it needs to call that function or use that operation or that variable, and we have not overridden it. why you're not facing that way to begin with. To be completely honest with you. Really? Did I not have snapping on? Weird, okay. There we go. So now we've got him in here, and he should follow the logic without issue. You can see he goes from entrance to idle automatically. Now the other things we need are if these things are true. Now these things, okay, now this is where it starts to get into a little bit complicated, because we need to make the AI work animations and logic based off of, you know, certain conditions or whatever. So in this case, let's make the zombie, we have to define the rules first before we do anything. Let's make the zombie just walk back and forth. If he collides with a wall, maybe he turns the other direction. So we could kind of place him somewhere and he'll just walk back and forth in the room. If he falls off and lands somewhere, you know, keep walking until he hits a wall. If he goes to walk off an edge, maybe he'll walk off an edge. Like, I think he can be kind of the dumbest enemy. He doesn't necessarily need any logic. He can kind of just roam freely. I think that's the easiest AI to make. And quite frankly, I feel like that's also the basic enemy that we should be starting with. It just makes sense to me. Now, like I said earlier in the episode, it has been a while since I've used blackboards, which is what we're going to use for the AI in this. So it's been a while since I've used them strictly in Blueprint and not in code, so it may take me some time to get this working. But I wanted to keep this on stream and kind of work through this together. Now, there is one thing I want to do. Let me edit this description real quick, because my friend just messaged me and said it doesn't say that this is your live stream. So let's edit this right on the spot. We'll take that out. Actually, we'll do it here. Sorry guys, not really want to do that, but my friend David is here to help. And he said that he did not know it was the live stream. He wanted to come by, and he said he did not know it was the live stream because I did not put live. So, well, allow me to eliminate that confusion. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a blackboard for our enemy and allow him to roam back and forth. When he's doing things like roaming, then he can have these different, you know, we can set booleans that then make him go into these states. I don't know if we'll do attacking, because it might just be like if you walk into him or if he walks into you, you take damage. But we can do walking, hit, and dead for sure. So what I'm going to do is, in my blueprints, I'm going to make an AI folder. And we're gonna, get started here. Now, again, it's been a while, so I know you need a blackboard and a behavior tree. Forget if I'm gonna call this zombie blackboard and like zombie behavior tree to start, but I can't remember if you actually need them individually. Zombie BT. I'm pretty sure we have to. Yep. No, hold on. Hold up. Okay, so they automatically connected, the blackboard and the behavior tree. So we didn't have to connect them, so that's good. And now you can swap between them, excuse me, just like this. So see, I kind of remember. Now these are connected. What we can do is, this is the root, so this is the first thing in the tree. The tree will read top to bottom, left to right. And it'll actually give you numbers here in the behavior tree, if I'm remembering correctly. So if I did we can just add a sequence to start here. So I add two sequences. You can see that these are numbered, -1 and 0. And if I do this, I'll actually do 0 and then 1. Well, -1, because it's not, hold on, let me show you. I want to show you the correct way. So say we have a selector here. Selector kind of determines the logic that the path, you know, it's like an if statement. Basically, you can add conditions to this and say, should I go this way or this path? And what we can do is add selectors, no, excuse me, sequences off of this. And see, now they're labeled 1 and 2. So what we've actually done here is we have 1 being, this is the first action that will happen. 2, this is the second action that will happen. In the case of a selector, this just means that this is, you know, if this is the first path, this is the second path. But this is the order they will be checked in. So this is useful because we can, right off the bat, separate some logic based on a condition. So if he's being hit, maybe don't walk. Or if he's within a certain range of the player, maybe attack. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Enjoy the game. It's nice to see you. We're working on some AI for our first enemy in the side-scroller game. So it's been a while since I've used blackboards and behavior trees in Blueprint specifically. So quick disclaimer, we will get it working, absolutely. But I'm used to doing this a slightly different way, but it's not really going to work here in the way our side-scroller game is going to work. So I do want to point that out ahead of time. If you see, like, it might take me a little bit of time to get everything working, but I kind of wanted to showcase that. I didn't want to hide that. That is something I'm learning too, and that's kind of the point of these is, you know, we're having fun. Hopefully I can teach you things, but also I'm learning and becoming a better programmer because of it. So I wanted to show that, and so it might take me a bit to get the AI working appropriately. So we're starting with a basic one while I kind of get caught back up to how the blueprint behavior trees and blackboards work, and then we'll get into more complicated stuff down the line. But for now, we've got a zombie, and the intention is that he will be able to walk back and forth. You know, maybe if he hits a wall, he turns around. It could be random where he's walking back and forth, but he probably won't have any real intelligence. Like, this is AI, right? We're not, like, faking it. This is real AI. But he probably won't have any, like, actual intelligent decision-making. It'll probably be off of, like, if he hits this wall, do this or something. It's not going to be like the fighting game where it's, like, predict what your opponent is going to do. You know, we're not at that level of AI. So I was waiting for the stream all day, and I got inside my own game. I made a new input command for dodging. I came in at a good time. You did come in at a good time. I'm very excited about this. Also, amazing work. Input command for dodging. Dodging is super fun. I don't exactly know what case you're using it. If you're using it as, like, you press the button and, you know, you just do like a dodge and it makes you invincible while you're dodging, or if it's like just a quick evasive move. But I love dodges in video games. It just always feels good. Cool. So I think it'll be fun. I think we'll have a good time here. Alright. So, what I was going over, because you just got here, I'll recap everything. You know, just that way you're not lost, because we just got started. Basically, when you want to do AI and you want to use Unreal System to do it, and you don't need to do it through code, or you don't want to do it through code, you have a blackboard and a behavior tree. Now, all you have to do is create these things. You do add new artificial intelligence, and then you pick the two options. They automatically link each other. I think the first, if you only have one blackboard, one behavior tree, they automatically link up. It might be off of the name, too. I'm not entirely sure how it works in Unreal, but these automatically hooked up together. I did not have to set this. However, once they're set up, you can switch between the two. So the blackboard has variables, and you can even add some, you can add these things called keys, so you can actually add functions and everything in here, or at least return types for functions and things. And these will basically store all the variables and all the results of these functions. But the behavior tree is where all your logic is being done. It's kind of like the AnimBP, the way it looks with the arrows and all. But, of course, it's totally different in logic. So the way this works is you have a root node to start. And the root node is, you know, like your entrance, your entry, that you have to start there. But then from there, you just drag and choose nodes that you want, just like any other blueprint. So I've chosen a selector. Now, a selector is basically, you can do this or this. It's kind of like an if statement. I don't know why they make it so complicated and call everything a different name, but, you know, by all means. And you can add other things like a service or a decorator, which these aren't really important what they are right now. But you can basically use the selector as an if statement and pass it a condition. And we'll say, oh, we should take this or this route. You can also just continuously use these sequences if you have defined logic that you want it to always loop through. In this case, our logic isn't going to be too complex, so we'll have a few things that we have to do, and then we'll save out some booleans because of that. That'll allow us to use the ANMBP. Like, for example, when we know that the AI is doing a walking state, then we'll set a boolean to make sure that the enemy is walking. Or maybe we'll use character states or something, but I think you get my point. So also, and this is the last thing we were just saying before you got here, these always read from top to bottom, left to right. This is how any sort of logic tree, at least any sort of logic tree that I've ever learned about in school or used at work or anything like that, has, like, it's how it's always been taught to me, but also I think it's basically just the official way to do it. I think if you do it another way, it's technically considered wrong just because it's, you know, people won't really understand it. Basically, you should always go top to bottom, left to right. So whatever the top, and literally, like, Unreal will hold you to this. You can see this is 0. Root to the selector is 0. This is the top leftmost node. But when we get on to ones that are in the same, they're on the same line here, okay? They're the same height vertically, same position vertically, I should say. You can see that this sequence says 1 and this sequence says 2. So quite literally, top to bottom, left to right. You can see the one on the left will fire first, assuming it's hooked up. Like if I disconnected this line, then, you know, I could move it over here. This one will still be first because it's the only one that's hooked up. But you get my point. So Unreal holds you to this. So positioning it in this in particular is more important than anything else. I tried Ryan's tutorial on the side scrolling, did not work. Been excited to see you do it so I can understand what's different in 2D space. Well, the tutorial works, just didn't in my... his AI tutorial. I've not actually watched his AI tutorials yet. There's a very good chance that I may if I get stuck on something. For me, if I watch a tutorial too early, then I find that I kind of get these... like, I don't want to say habits, because that makes them sound a little bit worse than they are, but I kind of... yeah, get these habits where like, oh, I have to do it this way, I have to do it this way. So what I like to do is actually play around with it first, and then I'll watch the tutorial. It doesn't really make a huge difference, but it helps me personally just understand a little bit better what I'm working with here. So I haven't actually watched his tutorials yet, but I'm also not a professional AI blueprinter. Okay, usually when I do AI, it's actually in code. The reason I'm not doing it in code, there's a few reasons. One, it's drastically more difficult. I know how to do it by now. I've done it on about 3 or 4 projects strictly in code, and it's always a pain in the butt. I mean, I'm going to be honest. You do basically these node traversal algorithms, which can take you from one to the other. The AI behavior trees in Unreal are known to be very, very efficient. They were made very well. So writing your own doesn't give you all that much advantage as opposed to just using their system. So I'm trying to learn it, and I think I want to use it so that, you know, people who watch the tutorials don't have to be experts in C++ to be able to understand what's going on. And also, I mean, it makes our lives easier. If this is very, very efficient, and I've been told it is, the research I've done and comparisons I've done also say that it is. So this is a very efficient method. It's good to use for AI. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to do. That's why I'm trying to learn it. As opposed to what I do differently, it's a good question. We'll see. I don't really know his tutorials, but to be honest, he probably has something like this. I think this is pretty much the standard way you set it up. And basically, what we're going to do here is have these sequences. These sequences you can add a task to. And the task is basically the logic that is in this node. So it's a little bit confusing the way that you set it up when you're first looking at it, but it starts to become a little easier. So the selector it'll select between these two. I think by default, if you don't apply a decorator or anything like that, it's always going to choose the left one. Again, it's been a long time since I've used a blueprint behavior tree, but I think it's always going to choose this sequence. So what we need to do is sequence will also go from left to right. Well, we need to add tasks. These tasks are what the sequences are going to execute. So in this case, they come out with this really stupid name, like BT task blueprint base new. Now, okay, real talk. Epic, why? Okay, I'm sorry, but why? I want to know. Like, this is terrible. I get you want a generalized name, but that's just terrible. It's ugly. It's too many characters. Come on. Just call it like new task, new BT task. What's up with all this garbage? So anyway, we're going to call it, you can call it whatever you want. The name actually does not matter. You just have to name it so that you can actually access it in the behavior tree. So we'll just call it walk. I will call it like zombie walk for now. They probably don't need to be separate, but I'm just going to cover my bases in case we have different forms. Like the zombie walks this way, but maybe like this other character can walk backward or something. Like, I don't know. There's not really a good case I can think of at the moment. Unless you were going to walk the opposite direction. I can't think of a good... Maybe we just need walk. I'll leave it at zombie walk, okay? I'll leave it at zombie walk. But I think this could just be a generalized walk talk. A generalized walk task for all AI. But we're going to do it like this, just so we're super clear on what's going on here. I'm making a task, but I'm making it specifically for the zombie in this case. So I'm not calling it walk task, I'm calling it zombie walk task. If for whatever reason you need that to be the only time you're doing this specific function, then this will work. So zombie walk task. Okay. Now these, I have to remember the exact nodes. This is part of what gets me every time because it's been so long. But there should be. Is it this one? Event receive execute. It might be this one. Is it execute? It's this one. Yeah, so I think it depends on if you need the controlled pawn or not. Regardless, I think we can just do it like this. We have this, and then hold on. There's another one we have, and it's like return. What is it? End. They're really weird names. So event receive execute means this is the node, the task that we should be executing based on the behavior tree. So this is how you're supposed to start all these tasks. Now, the naming is, I'm sorry, garbage. Okay, just say like enter task or something. Like, look at this. I've done this before, and I don't even know what name I'm supposed to be looking at. I think it's event receive execute is the initial one, but there's also one at the end where you're supposed to like finish execute. That's, ooh, that might be it. I don't know. It's been so long. Is it finish execute? That might be it. I can't even remember. And that's the issue here. These names are just like result. I think it's finish execute. But do you see what I'm saying? Do you see why I'm complaining about this? Yes, I haven't used it in a while, so I get that that's me being a bit of a noob on this part of it. But are you kidding me? Like, I know what I'm trying to do. Just make it easier for me. Why would I make it so complicated? But see, this isn't right because, oh no, target is self, but it's a BT blueprint task. Okay, I think this is the right thing. I might be wrong, so I might have to look up. Yes, it's finished. I remember one. Okay, thank you. Cool. I'm glad you. But okay. But do you see? I'm being completely honest and real with you right now. I've done plenty of AI stuff in code. Okay, I'm very familiar with AI. Look how complicated this is. Just call it enter task, exit task, enter task, finish task, start task, finish task. Why is it receive execute and finish execute? Because honestly, even knowing that the event's called receive execute, finish execute is not that like that. I think maybe execute AI though. I could be wrong. So you can do either. That one I do know. So the execute AI. Well, actually, that's a good point. I don't know. Yeah, you can do it in here too. Yeah, only one will be called. So you can do either. The execute AI gives you the controlled pawn as well. Alright. So I guess if you need the pawn, you use it. Again, I haven't used the blueprint version of this too much, so there's definitely things I'm going to learn. So feel free to call me out, anyone who's familiar, or even if someone, like if you were watching a tutorial and they said one way or the other, definitely call me out on it. I won't take any offense. Not that I would anyway, but I mean, I'll really at this point, you know, I'm switching over from code AI to blueprint AI, so it is going to take me some time. But yes, okay, so this is what you need for every task. You need an execute AI or execute, which starts your task. We need to do the logic in our task here, and then we need to finish the task here. And once we finish the task, and I think it has to be a success, otherwise it will fail out and go to the next state in the sequence, the next node in the sequence, then we can go ahead and perform that action. It's that simple. And it's not simple at all, so I don't know why I said it's that simple, but I think you get the point. Anyway, here we go. So event receive AI. So this is the zombie walk event. All we need to do is just do something, just to see that this is working, first of all. Then we can define the logic a little bit better. Now, I don't mean to keep repeating myself. It's been a while, so give me a few seconds here, maybe a few minutes. I think there's already like a move to thing. I mean, we can use like move to location, but then you would have to have a location. I think there's like a walk to or a move to. A symbol move to actor. Yeah, there's a, okay, here, this is what I was thinking of. So you can do a simple move to event in here. Okay. So we don't need to yeah, so I believe the way this works is you can call this just like you would any node, like if we were to call our task. And this move to will, yeah, you have this acceptable radius. So like, I think you can increase this radius to whatever value you want. And it'll kind of, if you have a Nav Mesh, it should automatically move between them. Is there another move too? Yeah, this should be okay. Now the Blackboard Keys. Okay, so Blackboard Keys are also a little weird. Blackboard keys are variables that you create, that you pass into these functions, and they kind of restore, or not restore, they kind of like retain a value for you. I never quite understood them, so maybe we'll get a perfect grasp on them in this live stream. But yeah, they're just variables, but the way they work is a little weird. You kind of have to like set them up. You have to set up having a Blackboard key and then performing an action. So I think instead of using their move to, there's a few, I'll get it. There's a few things we can do here. There's like a get actor, hold on. Get random, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So get random reachable point in radius. Okay, so that one's like not reachable. Just seeing if there's any others. It's been a long time. So this is good for AI navigation. Now it has been a bit, and I mean a bit, okay? So forgive me for this one. Forgive me for what I'm about to do, because you guys are gonna weep when you see me struggle with this. But this is all part of learning. That's the reason that I haven't, you know, I haven't cut this out. I'm not like doing this off stream. I'm not, you know, I'm not hiding anything. We're learning together. I know how to do it in code. Right now I'm fighting the battle of how can I do it in behavior tree with what's given to me. And hopefully that helps you. I believe get random point in navigable radius is the correct one, because this would be like if you wanted to move within a certain spot. If we wanted to like keep walking till he hits a wall, this is not technically correct. But I'm just trying to work with what I can remember from long ago, and then we can go from there. Once we can get one event working, I'm fairly certain we'll be very quick at this. I just want to make sure I've got everything in place. So anyway, We can take this random location. Love it. That word I love. Oh, navigable radius. It is a cool word. It just feels good to say. I'm not even going to lie. I can totally respect that. Alright, so, origin. Alright, so the controlled pawn is the character. The owner controller is the player controller. So whenever we're referring to something like the location here, we want to make sure we're using the controlled pawn. I'll do this. Now the radius we can choose. I literally do not know like a good radius. So I'm going to make it like 300. This is if it actually returns a good value or not, which I should probably do a branch for. And see, there's all this extra stuff that's like, it looks very scary, but it's not that scary. That's the thing. That's part of the reason I'm also doing this, is like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I don't know what half of it is, but we can get by just fine without it. So we do need, we need the controller here. We do need a way to move the character. And what I mean by that is the way you can only have a navigatable area if you have something that the AI can recognize and use as a path system. So Unreal does this for you by something called a Nav Mesh. Or like a nav. They have a few different nav for navigation things. In code, you would actually link some parts of the world together, again, usually using nodes or something, and kind of do a scan to determine what path they can walk along. So that's basically what Unreal has already done for you. It makes our lives easy. Now, first of all, I'm going to move the mannequin. I mean, quite frankly, we probably don't need him at all anymore, but I'll keep him. I'll move him over here. He can stay. He's more than welcome to stay. But he needs to get out of our way for a second here. Now, what we need to do is put our zombie in the world. We do know that he's got to be at a specific, at 1200. As for his spot, that's probably fine. I don't know if he'll be facing the right way off the bat. Not quite, but he's fine how he is. So, he's not going to have anything that the mannequin had, right? He kind of just exists at the moment. And he's also not possessed by anything. We need to make sure that he can be possessed by stuff. First of all, let's lower him down a bit. It popped him out of the ground a lot. I think this will look a little bit better. I feel like it keeps moving him out. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's fine. Weird. Alright, but that's fine. You know, I'm getting too specific with where his location is at. It doesn't matter. So, here, we put him here. But what we need to do is make sure that he's got a AI controller. I mean, right now... Hey, Gonzalo. Nice to see you. Just going over some AI stuff. Just a quick note. I'm used to doing AI in code. So while I'm doing this stream to help teach people, I am myself a little bit learning how to do it in Blueprint. So I apologize if it takes me a little bit longer than normal to kind of get caught up to speed with how it's normally done in Blueprint. But I'm kind of just experimenting with it right now and having fun and learning. And I'm not using any tutorials or anything. Once we get an event working, we'll be in a lot better spot. I'll know I have the process down, and then we can kind of mess with it as much as we want. Alright. So here we're at a point where we need to possess the zombie. Now there's a few things we can do. If we're never going to possess this guy with anything other than an AI controller, then we can auto-possess him if we want. Now I would not actually recommend that because it causes problems down the line, but since we're in a test level and we're not like spawning him in a scene yet, this will work perfectly fine, and quite frankly I don't see a problem with it. So I have to remember exactly where it's at. I think it's just on the zombie VP. Yep. So, auto-possess AI, placed in world by AI controller. You see that? So, the AI controller class is actually fine, but We should probably make our own controller class, just so that we can call the events on the blueprint when we do it. Try to see what my... Oh, it's funny, you can use just the default player controller. Excuse me. But yeah, so you see how it's just placed in one right now. That's what I'm saying can cause some issues, because if you have like 80 in the world, then you're gonna have like 80 controllers. So we'll make our own controller and update that. But right now, if he's being auto-possessed by AI controller, that's honestly fine. Let's do... Okay, so you can see now that we made this task, this zombie walk task, we can call it within our behavior tree. I like this. And by I like that, I mean I don't like that at all. The fact that it says on request failed. Alright, but what we're going to need to do is actually make a blueprint event to save out the location and all, and the radius and all. So you'll see how it gets a little bit more advanced here in a few minutes. But we have move location, MBT, and MVP. Okay, so right off the bat, he's not going to do anything. Regardless, even if our behavior tree is set 100%, we're missing one more thing. We're missing our Nav Mesh that I was talking about. Now, we can make it a very small area for now, or we can make it huge. It doesn't really matter, but we can just find it by searching classes. And you have this Nav Mesh bounds volume. And this is basically the area that the AI can move in. I also don't know where it went. Okay, I don't know why you went up there, but you know, it's cool. You do you. Won't try and stop you. Okay, I might try and stop you a little bit. Excuse me, sir. Would you like to come back to the land of the living over here? You know what? I don't know why you're over there. I've never had anything do that. Let's try this again. Nav Mesh bounds volume. That is weird that that's doing that. Is it because I'm spawning you on top? Okay. I've never seen that happen before, and I have used Nav Meshes quite a few times, so that is weird. Usually it'll stay. Alright, well I don't know what that was about. But anyway, when you're in a 2D environment, you don't really need to have any sort of depth here. You just need your height and your horizontal area. So you can just scale this up as much as you want. Like quite literally... Oh yeah, hold on. Quite literally, you can make this as big or as small as you want. And the whole thing is you just want this area to be the area they can navigate. You can kind of put it in the floor just to make sure that it covers the whole area, because it is a bit finicky if you were to not put it in the... If the enemy's not in the area, it's a possibility that it just won't care about these rules at all. Okay. Let me look. There used to be a setting you had to set. Okay. It looks like the supported agents all is doing what I remember doing. But here you go. So now we have our Nav Mesh. We have our character set up. A few other things we should do. So first of all, yeah, we could do that. First of all, we need to see if this is even executing at all. It's been a long time, but I know we need a Blackboard key to save out our location. I'm just more concerned about this right now. That should not be looking like that. Well, anyway, So you can do like print strings and stuff in here, and it works. So I'm gonna assume this is not getting called right now because of that error. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that error concerns me, but what we do need to do is invoke this behavior tree, essentially. The AI controller doesn't automatically have this behavior tree just because it's an AI, and so thus nothing will be done here. I mean, we're not at a point where anything can be done. And I forget exactly where to set that, but it will be on here somewhere. And this I may have to look up because it has been a long time. But you should be able to link these together one way or another. And it could be only in the AI controller, which we're going to make a new one anyway. Let's do that now. Yes, AI controller, and we'll call this zombie controller. Unfortunately, yeah, I do forget where you link them. So that I'll probably have to look up. I was going to try and do this without looking it up, because that would be great. But I'm not, I'm man enough to admit when I don't remember something. It's been a long time. So I think we should probably allow me to look this up real quick. You guys can stay. Like, we can just do it right here. You guys can see. So, let's see. I don't know. Connect, I guess. It's not really the word I want to use. But connect AI controller to behavior tree. See if the Unreal Engine docs actually tell us. Max walk speed, great, yeah. See, look, they're doing the same thing I'm doing. It's funny. It's pretty much just the way you do it, so it's not. Yeah, here's where they're making the keys for the objects and the actors. But this is for line of sight. This shouldn't be for connecting them. Oh yeah, I want to check this too. So it is receive, execute AI. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we did the finish execute right. It's been a while for that. Dude, there's a lot in this. Okay, here we go. Run behavior tree. This is all I was looking for. Run behavior tree. Alright. So let's do that. We're gonna do on begin play. Oh wait, no, this is a controller. We do need on possess. I was just gonna ask him, like, why are we doing on possess? Because it's a controller, not a character. I'm chilling. Yeah, I mean, see, look. That's why I have this disclaimer, okay? Because I'm gonna be honest. There's gonna be people, like, they see you look something up and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're doing, and it happens all the time. And I'm like, listen, I've just never done it this way before. So, I just wanted to make it clear. Thank you for understanding and sticking with me. But I like showing this because here's the thing. Does it look like I know everything? No. Can I code? Yes. Can I make a game? Yes. Do you know everything? No. Can you make a game? Yes. And that's the point. People ask me all the time, like, can I make a game I've no experience? Like, yes, absolutely. Look at what I just did. It took me probably 2 minutes, right? But I Googled, I found out the exact answer for what I needed. I didn't have to follow the whole tutorial, okay? But I did get what I needed. So run behavior tree is what I was looking for. And now this controller, well, we will have to assign the character to use this controller instead of the regular AI controller. But now we can use our zombie behavior tree on possess. So basically, as soon as the AI is possessed by the AI controller, then it'll work. So now we switch the AI controller to the zombie controller. And I don't believe it'll work as of yet. Actually, it's kind of working. Actually, yeah, it is flat out working, 100%. the range is farther than, it's not locked on the 2D plane, so he can move a little bit, you know, out of where he should, but actually it is working completely for what we've set up so far. So this is good. I thought it was not going to work until we set up the object reference, which I'll get into in a few minutes, but actually it works without it. You don't even need it. It's just like a safeguard, I guess. Cool. Google Master Race, right? I don't see the day where I wouldn't look something up just to be sure to see if there's a better way. And that's the thing. So listen, even at my work, where we work, I mean, a lot of the times those types of questions we have at work, you can't find the answer to online, right? It's such a specific project, such a specific product even, and you don't have the answers online. But you can look stuff up all day long and find out all sorts of useful information. Google Master Race is absolutely correct. So you can see that it's working right off the bat. I looked up one thing and wrote one task, and look, we have it working. So I haven't done it in how long, and I have it working. And that's the reason I keep bringing this up. Everyone can make their own game. It takes obviously a lot of work, but in terms of figuring things out, a lot of it's just kind of playing around with it. I just did things that sounded like they were right, and it happened to work. Like, yes, I've done it in code, so I kind of knew what I was looking for. But look, it wasn't too bad. So that should give you some encouragement, right? Cool. And now that we have a task done, we have the AI working, we can go crazy. Now we know that our controller is set up properly. We can make as many tasks as we want, and then we can add decorators to these tasks. We have the AI at our disposal at this point. Now, one just lock it on the character. That's going to be the here. So let me show you. I want to lock the character so you can't go into the X. That way you can't go out of where the character is. I'm getting a call. Thank you very much. No! I accidentally answered the call. It was totally a spam call. And the only thing they heard was me saying no. And then, yeah, there it went. Okay, anyway, I'm trying to copy you right now. Hey man, stop copying me. No, I'm just kidding. You're good. Let me know if you need to see anything or if you want me to explain anything. I do, for the most part, know what everything does in the behavior tree. So I could probably explain most of it. What I'm doing right now is making it so we can't go into the background or into the foreground. I forget exactly where it's at. Of course, I can't find it. Constrain. There we go. Constrain to plane. And we're going to constrain to the X plane. That way, the zombie cannot move. Now, I don't know if this works with the AI or not, so we're going to find out. It does. There you go. He's struggling to get another event where he doesn't have to go into the X. He's like, sir, can you get me a proper event here? But there you go. And another thing, I actually don't want him to rotate with the controller. I think that's on the mesh as well. Actually, yeah, that could be fine. Because what we'll do is this. We will disable... So watch this. We'll only ever take the Y value from the navigatable point. Or the navigable point. But then we will make sure that he can't move on another axis. That way he doesn't get all confused and try to move on another axis if we say hit him or something. And force him into it. Oh. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so I'll tell you what was going on. So he was only ever trying to move one time because it kept failing. And I'm assuming it's failing because he's trying to look outside of his range, which, the radius, though... Oh, you know what it is? Get reachable. We are supposed to use this one. So he was not finding a point that he could navigate. Let's fix that real quick. Why? Why is this so bad? Like, remember how we made him -90 and then moved him 90? to be able to do, and we also need to incorporate the actual character class into it. So sure, he can move around a bit, but we need to actually, if he's moving, we need to be setting variables to, you know, actually represent this data. So first of all, if we want him to just move left and move right, we can actually set a point that he has to move to, as opposed to setting a random point. It absolutely helps. It absolutely helps. You're totally right. And I mean, that's because if I make this like 9,000, then his radius is going to be huge, and the random point that's reachable in that should be pretty big as well. He can move a little bit farther to be able to reach it, but it's just more the principle of it was what was bothering me. Like, we're probably not even going to use that function for it, but I just want to know logically why he wasn't doing what I was expecting him to do. I still want to figure that out, and that's something I'll still look at, but it's okay for now, for real. What we probably want to do, instead of using this get random reachable point and radius, is we actually just want to get his location and set a value like 500 away and then move him to it. I mean, that is how this would be done, right? We want to move him to a certain point at a certain distance, or maybe forever in a given direction. And then when he collides with a wall, we want to change his direction. I mean, that's what we said when we set out here, right? A random reachable radius or random reachable point in a 2D game isn't as important because, you know, you only really have left and right. So sure, you can like split this like I've done, but quite frankly, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So here's what we should be doing as far as this goes. We should be making some variable or some sort of place to look for. So since he's a zombie, I'm not really going to worry about height either. I'm going to worry about just left and right. So we can have plus, and we can do plus, I think 500 is a good one, where we can just turn him around. Basically, if he's gone this far, we can turn him around automatically. We could also, and what we probably should do going forward with AI, is have all this stuff configurable so we can change them in the scene where we want them to move between. But if I just use 500 and I take the actor location plus 500 and set that as my goal location Y, well, you'll see what he does here. So, actually, no, you know what, he's not going to do that because he doesn't have he's going to need to have, hold on just a second. There is a hotkey you can actually use here, by the way. So, you know, probably don't do this, but your whole thing would probably be a Nav Mesh. And what we can do, see, if he doesn't move with this, then yeah, there's an issue with the way, yeah, his Nav Mesh is weird. He only wants to move if he's getting coordinates for all of these. That is so strange to me. Weird. Because you can see it's working. Look, he's being brought. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but it doesn't matter. We'll just pass everything along and just leave it be. He's constrained to the x-axis, so even if we pass him zeros, then it'll be perfectly fine. Oh, you know what's going on? He's trying to move to actually the location 0. That's it. That's what I was doing wrong. I wasn't thinking straight, is what was going on. So, location 0, he was trying to move to location 0, not his current location. That's what was going wrong. So, watch this. Watch this. Well, you know what? We'll add this again in a second, because this is what we're actually going to do. But to prove a point, okay, because I don't like leaving anything unfinished. Get random reachable point. Split. Actually, we don't have to split this. We can keep this. We can... a little annoying, because I do... get out of here. A little annoying, because I do want to get actor location. But, okay. We use this as the origin. We give it a radius of 300. And then we split this and we put this into the Y value. But we use the get actor location for the X and Z, so he's not trying to move to the 0 coordinate. There we go. Now we have what we want. Now he's moving constantly. Okay. Sorry that I was a little bit stupid at the moment, you know, has been a bit, so I had to think about it. But now you can see it's working as intended. Now he's moving constantly. I mean, that's probably not intended for your game, but that's what I intended when I made him originally. So there you go. You can see he's constantly moving within his Nav Mesh bounds. So, you know, don't be dumb like me when you're making your game. You gotta actually be smart when you're making your game. You gotta make smart decisions if you want it to be fun. And you gotta make sure you actually put in the right information for the AI to follow. David says, I'm here now, just got home. Hey David, nice to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. We're working on AI. And you can see we have this little AI guy. We gave him a model. I gave him animations, but I haven't triggered any of them yet. And we gotta move him back and forth now. So things are looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. So yeah, we probably don't want him to actually be doing that. We want him to have like defined logic. But now things make sense as to why they weren't working originally. So at least I'm not crazy. When I can confirm I'm not crazy, it's a good day. And I can't always confirm that. So it's not always a good day. But today, it's a good day. I'm going to do this because I can't stand having these things overlap each other. And I have plus in here. Really, I want him to go probably right first. But honestly, it'll matter. It'll depend on the direction he's facing. We don't have anything to determine what direction he's facing at the moment. But if I give him a plus 500, he's going to just bolt off to the right and say, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Now, he is stuck on the door, quite frankly, is what's going on here. He's just flat out stuck on that door. Because the doors are actually, we just moved them out of the way, and his mesh and his collider is a little bit bigger. So what we should do is just disable collision with the door when it is open. Which you know what, I'll do that just to make this a little bit cleaner as opposed to implementing a hack. So is this the regular door? This is the door BP. This is the door BP. Okay, so once it's open, set actor collision. We're gonna disable the collision. And we're gonna re-enable it when it closes. There we go. I can't remember if we there we go. Does 500 just happen to be the exact spot, the exact distance? Because it should be 500 continuously. A little suspicious. Not gonna lie. Yeah, that's what I thought. Weird. So, have you ever heard of this thing called set actor collision? Because you're sure not doing that, buddy. Weird. Okay, hold on. Let me go back into the door. Open door. Set actor, enable collision. Wait, enable collision. Get out of here. Set collision. I think this is the plane the blocking one. The plane is the blocking one. Duh. What the heck is going on? Why would I have set an actor enable collision? Get out of here. Get out of here. Stupid door. Making my life hard because you have stupid functions that no one ever wants to use. Here we go. Let's try this again. No, there is something else blocking him here. No collision. What the heck has collision that's blocking him? This is overlap all. Get out of here. No. We don't need collision on you. The mesh does not need to block. Oh, God, I'm so dumb. Okay, hold on. Close door. We need to re-add collision here, first of all. And then also, I'll show you what we need to do. My apologies, guys. Is he the one that can't push rocks? Is he the one that can't push rocks or can push full boulders? Yeah, he can't. They can push full boulders. Alright, so this should fix that, but then we still have to be able to get him to go through. So to get him to go through, I'll show you what we gotta do too. So, we have the door open here, and we have no collision on this, but the problem is he's actually colliding with this object. Or is he not colliding with it? No collision. Because he got stopped in the tracks, like, beforehand. I'll never be able to beat him like that. Hold on. He also moves at like 500 miles an hour. I need to slow his speed down. Come on. There we go. No, he's actually stopping. He's actually stopping prior. He's hitting. Why is he hitting this and stopping? Radius goes the whole way. Weird. Weird, weird, weird. Yeah, he's like hitting the button and stopping. But he's not, though, because when we moved the door up, he was fine. Okay, well, whatever. We can worry about that later. That really wasn't the point. I just get caught on these, like, little things where I'm like, why is that happening? And I wish I knew. Hello. Yeah, so he just did it. What was the hello for? Oh, because I had this here still. My bad. Well, whatever. You know what? Screw you. Get out of here. Get out of my face. Yeah, you want to see me push the full boulder real quick? We can do that. Here's the boulder. This is a new AI, so I don't think he'll be killed by that, but... Alright. Anyway, basically, when he hits something, then we want to turn him around. We want to flip him around. And it won't... we need to kind of store what direction he's facing so we know what direction we want him to walk. Now, this could be in the enemy or just the zombie. Since I think the way the direction is the direction the enemy is facing is important, we're just going to put it right in here. I'm going to add a boolean. I'm going to call it is facing right. So by default, I'll make everyone face right. Well, let's do is facing left, because I think, you know, usually you'll be on the left. Well, it doesn't really matter. We'll do is facing left, because I think more enemies would be facing left to start. We'll just have it false by default, but I think is facing left is fine. If they're not facing left, we know they're facing right. So, holy cow, he takes boulders to the head like a champ. Right? He is not intimidated by some boulders, some weak-ass boulders. Alright, let's build solution. And then let's compile. Okay, and now we should be able to access this. I mean, we can look. I mean, we know we'll be able to access it. But is facing left. Did I really copied this and didn't change it? Damn. Okay, let's build that. I'm a bit of a fool tonight. But there we go, now that that's built. We can compile this. Well, let's do that. God is scared of him. Wow. We jumped it up, you know, it really jumped up a notch there. We went from he takes boulders to the head. And, you know, can we possess the enemies with the controller on an overlap in the level? That would be very nice. I mean, we absolutely can. Can we possess the enemies with the controller on an overlap? So you're saying if you collide with the enemy, can you possess them? Because absolutely, you can do that. And we could actually cover that if you want. Okay. Sorry, guys. I am genuinely being a fool tonight, and I feel kind of bad about it. But here, now you can see we have is facing left. So all we really care about here is in the walk task, we can check if the enemy... There's a few things we need to check first. Like, for example, to get this, we need to make sure that it is an enemy type. We know that it's an enemy type, but the game doesn't. So we need to make sure that this cast succeeds, and only if this cast succeeds, we use what we want from it. I'm going to do this. It's not the neatest method, but it is going to be a little bit neater. Okay, there we go. All right. So we're gonna see if they're facing left or not, and then we're gonna do a branch. Now, if they are facing left, then if they're facing right, we'll do this one. But if they're facing left, we'll do this one. And basically the only difference here is we'll multiply this by -1. So, here. Sorry. I tend to make these very ugly and not have a great way to fix them, but what I want to do here is this. I will clean this up here. Let's do this. Sorry. I like to take a lot of time to make these things clean. Right now, this is still too ugly for me. There we go. It's not great, but it's good enough. I mean, at this point, you should be able to tell what's going on. I don't like to have anything overlapping right off the bat, which we had. So there you go. Now, what we're doing is we're basically using the direction that they are facing. Man, I escalated quickly. You did 0 to 100,000. I love that. No, I meant leave them in the world unpossessed until you want them to be able to come attack the player or do whatever, but you said sounds cool too. Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So that's actually pretty much how these things will be done. You're totally right. Basically, they're sitting in the world, and they might be doing like an idle action or something, but they won't really be triggered until then. Usually, to my knowledge, they are possessed prior, but they're stuck in like a waiting state in the behavior tree. And then once you reach either a certain area of the map, or maybe once you're in view of the screen, then they become active. Absolutely, we can do that. And in fact, we're actually going to do that in this series. So yeah, this isn't great. I'm not really happy with it, but honestly, this is about as good as it's going to get for now. So what's going on here? Now, other than this arbitrary hard-coded value, this is pretty much how you would set up the logic for what you want your character to do. So what we're doing is we're we're determining if they're facing left or not when they get started. If they're facing left by default, or if they're facing left when they perform this task, they're going to move to the left. If they're facing right, they're moving to the right. It's pretty simple stuff. But once they reach their destination, and we'll need to adjust this a little bit at the end here to perform this, but once they reach their destination, they should turn around and flip. Or if they hit a wall beforehand, they should turn around and flip. Okay, that's how we talked about setting up this zombie at the start. So let's make that happen. Now, everything doesn't have to be done in the AI controller. That's important. Everything does not have to be done in the AI controller or the behavior tree or any of that. This character that we're possessing, they still have all their logic going. So remember how we normally do on hit stuff. We just we take the character itself, and we can do like capsule component on component hit. So we can still do that, and this will still work. So we can do on component hit. We can cast and see if the other actor is. Let's do the door in this case. I kind of don't like doing the door because, you know, I feel like they should be able to come through the door. But let's do the door in this case. If they collide with the door, then we want to turn them around. Okay. So set is flipped. Sorry, is facing left. And we're gonna reverse the is facing left logic. So we're going to get is facing left, get the not boolean, so the opposite, and then set it to that. So if it is facing left, it's going to be setting this to the is facing left true. If it is facing left, it's going to be setting is facing left to be false. Basically, it's just doing the exact opposite operation here. And at this point, I mean, assuming this collision works, this should work. Would you like to move, sir? Did I bother you? Is there something that I did incorrectly? One request failed. Success. It's facing left. Is this cast failing? Aren't you a child of... Oh, base enemy BP. This cast will fail. Hold up a second. Cast to... it doesn't even have to be zombie. It could be the base enemy, but it can't be base enemy BP. It is not a child of base enemy BP. There we go. Okay, yeah, so he's like actually not colliding with that door. I don't entirely know what's going on with the door. I'm gonna leave the door alone for a moment. Let's make a wall, like quite literally just a wall that we can use. It can be an invisible one that we can just put anywhere as well, so you can kind of keep them on a platform, like they can walk back and forth. Let's do that real quick. Let's make a new, let's make it an object. Yeah, we can save that. I'll literally call it invisible wall. Okay. Invisible wall. That would be better if I spelled it correctly. And we're gonna do a box collision. And we're gonna make it like, you know, it'll probably depend on the area, but I'll make it like 5 in this case. 5 by default. And now all we care about is that's overlap all and generate overlap events. Put this at the good old 1200, and we'll put it like this. Okay, so we have 2 walls here. Now, if the player walks into it, it's not going to do anything. But for the zombie, when they walk into it, should fire off that they've hit, and it should flip them around. My mistake. I realize I'm still using on component hit. Component overlap. Oh, okay, hold on. Caps component. Begin overlap. you go. Now you could make these blocking for the enemy. Excuse me? Oh, we might also have to cancel his task. That could be what it is. I am curious if, is this actually firing? Because he also... Okay, it is firing. We just have to cancel his task. He's trying to move plus 500 the whole time as opposed to... That's weird though, because... If he collided with it, is facing left, gets reversed. So he's not facing left by default, then he should be... Should change his... Times -1, yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. So, first of all, I realized a bug with this. So we could do that, but if you happen to be already past that value, that won't work. First things first there. I don't know if that's related to this issue, but it is something we should fix now. Great, more lines, just what I wanted. That's fine where it is. Okay. Let's see if that fixed it. If it didn't fix it, then I know what I'm going to do. Weird. Alright. That's fine. Just want to make sure both of these are printing. That way I can confirm this is an issue with the direction. 22, 22. Actually, it's not. It's doing this one constantly. Why is it? Hold on. Okay, so yeah, it works. It is work. He just has a really, really long task he was getting. Did you see that? And he did it like 3 times in a row, so I was getting a little bit confused. There you go. I like how he got it like 6 times in a row. It was way more than 3. Alright, a few other things though. I'm actually I want to keep him in like a more confined space. And see if this works, or if he's always going to use the point first. No, it should work now that he's... Yeah, okay. So as long as he's not going past that point to something he can't reach, it'll always work. Alright, cool. See, we learned something new there. Like right now, I think that's what he's trying to do. Right, he overlapped and he's probably trying to go back to the other point. That's the only thing. Will request eventually fail, or do we have to force the fail? I know we can do an abort. So we might have to just put a time limit on an abort if he doesn't reach it. We could also force it to abort when we collide, which is probably the best thing to do here. Neat zombie, mate. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. See, but, okay, see, that's the thing. So, I don't mean to keep repeating myself, but see how we came in and I'm like, I'm not really sure how to do, like, BP AI. And look, in one episode, not even 2 hours at this point, we already have him working on a pretty good level. I mean, there's definitely more that needs to be done. And we need to make sure that he's getting aborted from that task when he wants to go past it, based on his functionality. But we're doing really well. I'm really happy about it. Down the line, could you teach how to summon another character that stays out for a limited time, or maybe tag out to another character, kind of like how you would and absolutely we can do that. Absolutely. I already want to do that in this series because I want to make this series a lot like the old school Castlevania. So I kind of thinking like familiars and things like that as well. So absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. And as I'm getting better here at BP AI, then we're going to have a lot more functionality. I'm really excited. I don't know if you heard me talking about this. I know how to do code AI pretty well at this point. I've done it on 3 different projects, but this is pretty new to me. So I wanted to get this working because Unreal's AI is supposed to be very, very efficient, the way they do their blackboards and their behavior trees. And it's way easier than doing the C++ version. So the progress we made today is so exciting to me. It opens up so many possibilities that we can end up using. Okay, cool. My minions run right at me. Super advanced, I know, right? They just literally pile on top of you. I mean, that is a type of enemy, though. Alright, I've got a few minutes left. Let's see if we can fix this issue where he, like, keeps wanting to go past the wall because he hits it, he collides with it, and then the task is still telling him that he should continue by it. You see that? Yeah, hold on. Let's make this not so... Oh wait, if we're adding it, we should go to add 180. Alright, well, you know, not quite what I was hoping for. Okay, so that's the issue. You see it? That's the reason I think he can kind of get stuck, is he can actually go past this a little bit, and then he actually hits it twice. So we do need to abort the task. What? We do need to abort the task as soon as we collide. And quite frankly, that's probably a lot more than what we should really be doing as I wrap up the episode here. So we might just leave that as a bug for next time and fix it. I can fix this rotation real quick though. We can just force his rotation based on if he's left or not. But to do that, we need to make sure this is facing the correct spot. So we want this to be 0 by default. Which, is that him looking right out? Yeah, it is, okay. And then we can force this. So that way they're also facing the same way as the character. Alright, and then now we can do a branch right off of this and just force it to be a direction. So if it's, I'm not, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure which one will be which. Depends on which one he hits and what direction he's facing. Let's do 0 and 180 like this. Michael Jackson zombie. Yeah, there is Thriller that you can actually get off Mixamo. Okay, so yeah, this is working. The issue is you can tell that the actual collision is doing what I said. It's actually screwing it up because it's waiting until his task is complete, and then it's hitting the wall, and it's actually kind of hitting, it's actually overlapping it once, going past it, and then overlapping again. So that's a bug we'll have to fix for next time. But the actual flipping is working at least. There we go, he got stuck again. Okay, so we have a few bugs to fix, but I feel really good about this. Going in with basically very, very limited blueprint AI knowledge, behavior tree knowledge, and coming out with an AI that can walk around and that we can actually interface with and change things about. My goal for the next episode, I want to keep working on this AI, but I want this AI to be complete. I mean, obviously we can tweak it as much as we want later, but I want it to be basically bug-free, at least in the environments that we're putting him in. And I want him to be able to take damage and die, just like the other AI did, but we have to move it down the chain since this is a different class now. And I want to be able to kill him. I want all of his animations to work. And I want him to do damage if he walks into me. We already have the pushback and everything when we take damage, so I think we can get this looking really, really good by next episode. Then we'll have a basic AI, and we'll probably take a quick break from AI after that episode. But once we have AI working at that point, then we can just make it the AI a little bit more complicated. We can make AI that stop and throw something at you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited about where we can take this. I'm really, really excited. All right, I think I'm going to end it there. I think we're on a pretty good note. The only thing I wish we could have solved those bugs, but I don't want to look into them for too long. I'd rather wrap up and then we solve them for next time. And I think that'll give us kind of enough time to wrap up everything we want for this AI. But I want to thank you guys for sticking around with me. This is so much fun for me. For me, the live stream is a lot more of like experimentation and learning, which is really good for me. It kind of puts me in situations where I don't necessarily know what I'm going to be working with or what I'm going to have to make on the spot, which is really good for, you know, helping me learn. I'm always learning too. So I'm glad that you guys came by and gave me support. It makes me so happy to see you, and it makes the stream a lot better for me. So thanks, guys. I'm talking Everglades. Enjoy your games. Snatch and David, Grandma. Thank you all. For real. It's great seeing you. I know, sorry, Gonzalo. I didn't want to miss you. I remembered you. I just couldn't remember your name, and I apologize for that. Thanks for the stream, homie. Absolutely. For real. This is so fun for me. It's such a good learning experience for me. So I appreciate you guys coming around and hanging out. And of course, you got the new fighting game tutorial coming out on Sunday. This one's about homing projectiles. So that one will be a fun one. And yeah, we'll pick it up next week. Back in my Flash coding days, my AI was only rudimentary, but yeah, we've covered a lot so far. And based on your other series, I know how far the series can advance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, the whole series, like, it's fun for me to learn, too. That's actually why I started it, and then you guys genuinely really enjoyed it. I'm very, very happy about that, but it started as I wanted to learn more, so I put out what I had, and, like, I wanted to see what people thought about it, and then I wanted to make it better and learn, and I've learned so much since I started these series. I've actually become so much of a better Unreal programmer since I've started them. And now, like, this is my first stream about AI, but look how much we learned in terms of behavior tree and Unreal's AI system in one episode in less than 2 hours. Imagine how much we'll know next time. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. I was losing hope before I found your channel, man. I appreciate every day I'm watching your videos. That is seriously so nice. Taught me a ton, like, no joke. That's seriously so nice. Really, guys, thank you so much. Everglades and enjoy the games, like, thank you. You guys, that's so nice. I'm really glad that I'm helping you, and the whole goal is, like, I do it all for free. I know there's ads and stuff. I mean, I'll be fully transparent. Obviously, I have that opportunity, I'm gonna put them there. But I want it to be completely free for you guys. I want the education and the learning to be free. I mean, I'm learning too, so I'm not going to be passing off, you know, the best knowledge. I'm the best Unreal coder, but I mean, I have a job in Unreal, so I think it's fair for me to say that I'm at least a decent Unreal programmer. And yeah, I love helping you guys. So if you can learn anything, like genuinely learn anything, then that makes me happy. That's really what my goal is. I'm really not doing this for me. I'm doing this for me to learn more on my own, but I really, really want to pass that knowledge off. That's what makes me happy. So you guys saying that you learn from this and that, you know, you see the series advancing and you're excited about that, that makes me really happy. So thank you so much, guys, for the nice support. And yeah, I think that's it for today. So we'll pick back up every Friday right here on this channel. I'm going to be uploading them to the Shawnthebro 27 channel as well with the other Twitch streams. So check that out if you'd like. And I'm very, very excited to continue this series. Just won a custody battle with the government for my kid. I want to say congratulations. I don't want that to be out of place, but I mean, I feel like that is a good win for you. So congratulations. I have no money without your video, so there's so much. There wouldn't be much to learn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the whole thing, right? That really is the whole thing. It's you shouldn't have to spend money to learn. I mean, I went to college. Like, I spent a ton of money to learn. And I just feel like that's wrong, though. I feel like that's wrong. I feel like the education should be free. I'm not over here being a socialist. I'm not sitting here talking politics. But I'm saying I feel like something that you want to do and pursue, I feel like that should be free. Just end of story. That's what I feel like. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it. I think everyone should be able to make their games that they want to make and learn that. Have a good night, brother. Have a good night, guys. All of you. Thank you so much. Big win, long I bet it was very long. And that's why I said congrats. I didn't want to, like, say that, you know. I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. But seriously, congrats. I mean, I know that's a big thing. So, alright, guys. Thank you so much. I will see you next Friday. Or maybe before. Maybe if we talk on Discord or by email or whatever. But I'll see you soon. See you next time, guys.